Rosa Parks is the fire in my heart. Jim Bellamy Shaw, Ego World War I. Excellence indeed, a supreme work of art. Nah, you don't wanna start. I wear the blood clot. March through the streets like Angela Davis with my right hand up, so you know what the wave is. All you phonies of the life, found the spirit of David. I set pace, come true like you saying to do. Now everybody's claiming that they got the swords. With the same recipe, I put them all on pause. Wait, hold up, get to pen and paper. Take a seat, let me show you how it's done. La 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 la. I come true with that.
Hi, we're here with Darrel Blake at Sister Beloved today. So Darrel is a public speaker, activist and a Black Studies student. Hi Darrel, how you doing?
I'm alright, thank you very much, I'm good.
Thanks for coming down to see us today, here at Sister Beloved.
I had to come and bless the screens and stuff. You know, I'm loving the whole Sister Beloved movement.
Brilliant, thanks for getting involved. So tell us a bit more about yourself. So you're a researcher, activist. What else do you do?
Not sleep. That's one of the things I do.
You
not to do is not sleep. I've pretty much got my hands in all the jars, really. As you said from the list there, researcher, ethnographer. In terms of being an activist, I'm more, I'd say activist, but it's more radical. I'm at that radical stage now where I've pretty much been outspoken, but now I'm at the level where I really want to be heard, and I really believe that time is now to just turn everything on its face. And when I'm talking about that, I'm in regards to like systematic oppression to people of darker skin tones.
What type of projects are you getting involved in at the moment?
Well, currently, the new baby, Sister Beloved, I've been wanting to kind of get this kind of concept off the ground for a while. Since I created my first brand, which is Black Rooted, which is technically an online platform where it showcases documentaries, videos, events, and also lectures within the African diaspora. There's so many things that was coming from that, in terms of you had issues that I started to recognise in terms of that's affecting black women in the workforce. And then there was issues to do with youth and crime. And then there's black men in mental health. So like there's a lot of
variety.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, under Black Rooted, that's opened up my eyes to a lot of things. So because it did that, I was then able to look at and dissect Black Rooted and be like, alright, cool. What am I going to do first? What I'm going to put first, second, third, fourth, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, with Black Rooted, that was the cell membrane of everything that I do, and everything else is coming off that. So,
okay, so Sister Beloved, tell us a bit more about Sister Beloved.
Well, Sister Beloved is about females, it's about women, especially black women. The idea came from myself when I used to reflect. I do a lot of reflection, like at least once a week. I was reflecting back to a time when my mum, when I was very young, and my mother wanted to basically give me the best life for a child. And I mean, it was one day, I went to my mum and I was like, alright, Mum, I want to go to the cinema with my friends. And she was like, I ain't got no money. I was like, okay, cool, whatever, I can't go. Then I remember she called me back into the room and she opened up her purse, and I remember there was like £10 in there, and she gave me her last £10. And she was like, go and enjoy yourself. And that back then was like $4.50 to go to cinema, and then kind of the flexes there. £2 could get you a decent popcorn and sweets. Do you know what I mean? So that's always stayed in my heart, and I've always said to myself, I'm always going to be giving my mum back that £10. Here you go, Mum, £10. Here you go, Mum, £10, and so forth. Because that £10 was a massive part of who I am today. It still is a massive part of who I am today. Sorry. So, Sister Beloved was about appreciation of women, especially black women, because I was born from one. So, with my knowledge from Black Rooted about how the disadvantages of black women, especially darker skinned women, face in society, in the UK society and in the African diaspora. I wanted to create a platform where we show appreciation, because the only time women tend to really support each other, be like, yes, is in the toilets at an event. Right? Where do you get those shoes from? That sweater? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it should be an everyday thing. And I think the rivalries within women is big. You know, there's so many factors, ageism, colorism, so on and so forth. So I wanted to create a space where females could really support each other and show natural love and be about progression and empowerment within, you know, so whether you're a feminist or whether, no matter what you are or what you literally stand for, your faith, your religion, your creed, whatever, you can actually get involved and be supportive and look for help. You know what I mean? So I wanted to create Sister Beloved, which is about togetherness of women, really.
How do they get involved?
Well, with platforms, you're going to see vlogs, you're going to see documentaries, you're going to see interviews for different kind of people. So people that are involved in like music, media, fashion, authors, people that are chefs, some great women that are chefs. And I know most black women can cook, okay? Most black people can cook soul food. Okay, whether you're from the continent of Africa or from the Caribbean, most people can cook soul food. But I also want to hear about women who are chefs who are challenging the status quo, as in entering into a field that's pretty much dominated by white males, and they're trying to make a, you know what I mean? We've got a few that's probably popped through and tried a thing and whatnot, had a show or wrote a good cookery book, but you know what I mean, like Lorraine Pascal, for example, like she's done great work and she's been on TV, and I'd love to understand her journey, you know what I mean, the reality of it, because there might be some women out here who want to be the next Lorraine Pascal, but they can't tap into her journey because no one's really kind of put her on a platform like that.
Okay, so your platform is going to be empowering and opening a wider audience for people that are coming, as well as people that have been successful already.
100%. In terms of people that's like up and coming people, they need to get a sense of like inclusiveness. So some industries are quite elitist. So if you're a DJ or you're a singer or you're a rapper, or in the music industry, it's quite elitist. So the people who are making a lot of noise, they kind of bond together, sort of thing. Promote each other's albums, tweet each other's stuff. People that are up and coming, they want to be in those platforms, they want to get recognised, and sometimes they don't. So if we can include people that are up and coming and give them that voice, say, hey, like, we see what you're doing, like, well done. Let's hear your story. You know, that will give them that sense of confidence and belief, self-belief that they are actually doing something that people actually recognise and can see. So in terms of, it's important that you have the people that are up and coming, because the raw talent is rich. So it's good that we are looking to get people like that involved as well.
And we're looking back in the Black history and how society is today. What would you say, or what are your views on how Black women are represented in the media, in society on the whole, and what struggles are they facing, do you find?
Well, in history, Black women have always been the bottom of the scale. So, I mean, you look at, if you go back to modernity or plantation slavery, Black women pretty much face similar things that they did then, how they do now. So Black women are the most disrespected people on the planet, most violated, and most experimented on.
So can you give some examples of how they're disrespected and by who?
Alright, so when you look at Black women, for example, and let's look at Black women in media. Black women in media are representing certain roles. So if you look at films, for example, Black women tend to, there's a period of time, so if you go from like early 1900s right up until the late 20th century, right, Black women tend to have played certain roles where they were like the mammy. So it's like yes boss, no boss, yes master. You had the mammy, you always had the hooker, you've always had the ghetto one, you've always had, like, you didn't have women playing roles like business women, had stuff on the, that's why people kind of like Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder, because they're like prominent like women that are, you know, strong in their roles and stuff, and they lead. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of like plantation slavery, the same thing happened. When women were disrespected, they used to call them like bedwenchers. So black women literally, from getting their organs ripped out to them sleeping with the slave masters just so their husband don't get beaten or their children don't get sold, it's like they play that role of whatever the white person says just so it pleases the white person. And they do media, that happens in music. I mean, black women, especially darker skinned women, tend to get disrespected the most. Do you know what I mean? When it comes to like gollywog dolls of being black men and black women, and it's always women at the bottom. And black women tend to, like dark skinned men, they're like sexualized and fantasized. Like, so there's always been the notion that white women are just like a dark skinned man because he's strong, he may have a big genital, whatever it is. Then it's the black woman who seems as like dirty, trash, she don't feel no pain, you can disrespect her. So it's kind of weird how even in the black community there's still the power dynamic of black men having they're disrespected, but they still have a bit more power than black women do, yeah.
So do you find that, what are your views on how black men treat black women?
Where?
In general.
What, in general? What, globally or in the UK?
In the UK. So
I mean, this is a touchy subject. How black men treat black women.
Yeah, you got to be careful what you say here.
Well, I'm a realist.
Alright, so what are your views on, for example, music? So the UK artists that we have.
What genre?
No.
Black. So you're talking about like the youngest, like drill trap and stuff like that. I mean, drill trap is just an ascendant of hip hop. It's just like the great grandson of hip hop. So it's a form of rap music. So with any media platform that's not solely on black people, there's always going to be a connotation of what white supremacy is. So even with UK music, check music videos, for example, you tend to have women shaking their asses, doing all this stuff, making it clap, making it rain, right? Then they tend to be a certain skin tone, making it clap, making it rain. Then also you have videos where guys talking about, I love my girl, I love my chick, do you know what I mean? He's rapping, doing his thing, cool, respect that. And then you'll have a woman who looks like she's from Eastern Europe, yeah, there in some skin tight clothes, dancing on him, rubbing in his head. It's like, it's nothing new. And I'm not saying black men in that genre of music disrespect black women. I'm just saying that black women don't really hold important roles. You get a couple that will creep through and whatnot, but like you don't really tend to see, like if black women was to come through on a drill trap thing, they have to really look a certain way. Or even on grime, you have to look a certain way. You can't be.
So a certain way, in what way? How would you think?
So your aesthetic, so how you look, how you dress. Do you know what I mean? How you talk and so the ones that don't really, they're big, but they're not really out there. Like one of my favourite, I love Lioness. Like I love the way she flows, what she raps about, whatever. And she made a banging tune the other day about dark skin girls. Bad tune. Bad tune. And no one, I haven't heard anyone do that. But I like Lioness because she carries herself a certain way. She's not too provocative. She's not about bang anywhere gang. She's a lyrical don. But there are other people that might get a certain limelight, maybe because they may be lighter, maybe because they might show off a bit more side boob, maybe because they might say certain lyrics where they'll talk about, I don't know, taking some girl's man and, you know what I mean, doing web. It happens. Do you know what I'm saying? But black women ain't really in any industry. It's just not even R&B. It's just not. How many female Afro beats singers you know?
I don't know.
Or Afro swing. I mean, it's like Afro bashment or something. How many are there?
I don't know.
See, in dancehall, again, dancehall music, you had, I know it's not UK, but still, dancehall music, you had, the music industry is probably, you know, it's probably the most male-dominant industry there is. But, even with dancehall music, women tend to come with the slackness, and it gets them far. So
then how are they perceived, in negative or positive light?
Black women, definitely negative. To bring it back home.
So would you say that music definitely has an influence on how black women are perceived?
Of course, definitely. But it's only the only music that I know, the only genre I know that you will be able to hear appreciation of black women is culture. So you got people like Richie Spice that will come out with a song called Brown Singing. I mean, neo soul. I guess neo soul, yeah, neo soul. Do you know what I mean? But that's, yeah, I guess neo soul and culture. R&B not really, because it's all about having bad bitches and, you know, throwing money on women and, you know, I got this girl and, you know what I mean, and hip hop's kind of the same thing. There's even a song talking about God. Please don't let me cheat. I mean, if you're asking God to help you not cheat, I mean,
gosh,
what does that? You know, I mean, what does that say about the music industry? But in terms of being disrespected to black women, all genres are like that.
But do you think it's disrespectful to black women or all women, or black women are mainly disrespected through those type of music?
Well, of course, to black women, definitely, because you don't really, you can't really tie a Chris Brown song or a Trey Songz song to a Russian white woman. It just doesn't. It's like, you know, everything's black. And the reason why I say disrespect is because if it wasn't for black women, we wouldn't have music anyway. So black women were the mothers of music. They were the mothers of the drum. They were the mothers of the flute. Inspired by a woman, let's just say. Inspired by a woman. So most instruments were inspired by a woman. So even to not even mention women in a beautiful way in any genre of music is kind of disrespectful to black women, because they are. And that's the thing about black culture. We don't tend to just big up the oldest. Like, you've got rock and roll bands that will always give props to old bands prior to them, or indie bands and stuff like that. You know what I mean? You always just see Beatles. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just get it. Stuff from the 70s, 60s, whatever it is. It's Bee Gees. But when it comes to hip hop, we don't hear people talking about KRS-One. If you're a DJ, you're cutting and scratching. You don't really hear people talking about Grandmaster Flash. Do you know what I mean? You just don't. So we're not tapped to really appreciate something if it's detrimental to our character. And detrimental in terms of we might lose money or we, you know, might lose some friends.
So hopefully through Sister Beloved, you'll be able to kind of educate people more on their culture.
Well, hopefully you can kind of bring stuff to light. It's all about having a general conversation. Yeah. Because I believe certain conversations need to be had, and from different people and different perspectives. I got my perspective on a lot of things, you know. But that, in a nutshell, I want to hear from other people and give them the platform, and then maybe we can, you know, come with some solutions. Because there needs to be some solutions in this day and age, because we need help.
Okay, so on that note, as black women, how can we gain respect and loyalty from our black men?
You can't.
Wow. We can't.
You can't.
At all.
You can't gain it. You can't gain something you deserve.
Okay, so how do we get it back?
How black women get it back?
Yeah.
You can't get it back. Because we have to give it to you. Like, you can't get something from us that, I don't know if I'm, like, so you can't, there's nothing you can do within yourself to influence that.
Okay, so it's not what black women are doing that can change the behaviours of men towards them.
Alright, the only thing I could think, if you really want to, because I don't believe women should do anything, I think it's all men, but if you actually want to answer, what women can do to get respect from men is raise better sons. That's the only thing I can think of. Because you can't be with a dude and expect him to change if he's not going to change. He's not going to change. It's nothing you can do. It's him. He has to say, all right, I don't want to be trapping anymore. All right, I'm not going to be one of the, you know, sleep with other women. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not always going to be disrespecting, calling black women this, or I'm not going to start preferring darker tone people to lighter tone, or lighter tone to darker tone, or straight hair to curly hair to straight hair, tall ones to short ones, so on and so forth. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to take, you know, advantage of people who are vulnerable, who are black. I'm not going to think, okay, a woman with vitiligo looks like da-da-da-da, as opposed to someone who's just got a one-tone skin tone. Like, so it's within himself, but that comes with education. I think black women raising sons, I use the term better sons loosely, but just for the sake of this, raising sons a certain way, that's the only thing they can do. That's 50%. Our 50 has to be the father taking over and raising a certain way. Do you know what I mean? But hopefully, the chain will be broken. You know what I mean? But this has been planned from 1712 when William Lynch in Virginia came out with a plan that would dismantle the black community for at least 300 years. So 300 years from then would be 2012. So he said at least. So we're 6 years after the time they said it, or at least it worked. So he had a method which will then control the slaves, and with the slaves he said that he will be able to put them under control by dividing them. So if we divide black woman and black man, that's a division that will work. It happens today. If we divide them by age, colour, hair type, so many different things, and it's true. So it happens today. Do you know what I mean? So you've got the younger girl who don't listen to the older girl because the older girl, see, I was your age, how can we doing that? Oh my god, my mum with a box in my face. Do you know what I mean? Young girls like, well, you're older, you don't really know about Snapchat filters, like pouting. Do you know what I mean? There's no connect because it's been told to. This is it. There's no community no more. Do you know what I mean? So,
what would you say are the key elements that are needed for black men and black women to form healthy, strong relationships that last?
Key elements. Self-love, self-respect.
On both sides.
Of course.
Yeah.
Gratitude, education, wealth, and health. These are the only elements you need for a black man and black woman to form that power couple, for it to thrive, and you need all those things. That's my opinion.
Okay, so would you call yourself a feminist?
Of course.
Male feminist?
Of course. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because people hear what it is as well, and I don't blame them. When you hear the word feminist, you think, oh my god, they're bad in bras, oh my god, they're man bashing, oh my god, here we go. That's what you hear. Because some people, I believe that certain group of people take that word feminism because it holds power. So you look at the black community, there's a lot of black females that take that word feminism because it holds power. Why? Because white people have given feminism that title, power. So you got some people that will just attach themselves to stuff because it gives them power, it gives them a voice, because they haven't had a voice before. But if I say, oh, I'm a vegan and I'm a feminist, you're going to be like, oh, we're going to listen to her. Do you know what I mean? Because of certain things have power. So some people will use feminism to bash men because they think that's what it's about. When it's not about that. And some people get scared of the word feminism or feminist. And I am a feminist because I believe in women across the platform. So in terms of like, I was putting out information during the World Cup that women, like, women get abused when England play. So imagine if England play, they're going to get abused, so it could be domestic violence. So when England lose, the percentage goes up of women that get abused. Just from a football match. These are conversations that we don't have because the whole hooliganism is kind of like that, the forefront. But what about the women that have got to be at home with these men? So you've got that within the black community. I mean, there's so many things affecting women that they don't get paid as much as black men. They're doing well in education in school compared to black boys. But other than that, that's the only thing that women are pretty much, you know, doing better than men at, or boys at, sort of thing. But there are many factors within the black community in terms of black women that we need to address. And black women just don't really get their voices heard.
So what words of wisdom or advice would you give as a self-proclaimed feminist to black women about having confidence to follow their dreams and achieve their goals?
I mean, words of wisdom, I would probably think about, I would suggest, in terms of me giving them words of wisdom, because I can't. I can, but it'll still be from a man's perspective, because I'm not a woman. I could see, Kimberly Crenshaw came out with something called intersectionality, which is basically an overlap of struggles in a system of injustice. So me and yourself, right, we could be going through systematic oppression, so white people could just be prejudiced towards us because we're black. But your prejudice is going to be different from mine, simply because yours is a woman. Mine's going to be different from yours because I'm a man. So there's different layers to oppression. So I can't really give advice on how you can, because I've never had a struggle of a woman. I've never had a period. Do you know what I'm saying? But in terms of self-belief as a black person, like, words of wisdom is about really looking into yourself and finding out who you are. It took me a while for me to identify who I was, because I just didn't know. I was just doing things in this world, not knowing who I was or why I was doing these things. And because I was doing those things, I just thought the world was alright. Until I started to deepen things a bit more and started to meditate and fast and do these things. I was like, wow, this world's kind of crazy. So I had to look within myself and start researching. I started to research family tree and those sort of things. And I was looking within myself, I found out how beautiful I was. Because I had complexes growing up. You know what I mean? I didn't like my skin tone. I actually went to my mum and actually said to her that I wanted to be lighter. So me being the complexion I am now, at the age of like 7, 8, I said to my mum, I want to be lighter. Like, at 7, 8. You know what I mean? That's in the 90s. So what was I going through as a kid as to why? And this was like prior B2K era, where everyone wanted to be light skinned with braids and stuff, and everyone wanted to be dancing like Kamaria. Like, this is prior to that. So what was going on in my world, growing up in South London, where I wanted to be like, I wanted to change my name. I didn't want to be called Darrel. I wanted a typical light skin name, like Jordan. Like, that's what I wanted. I did. Just then. It's just deep. So what was I going through? So I had a bit of like, I didn't really like myself because dark skinned people weren't represented. I got called names. You know what I mean? But I got through it, and I got through it during a time when there was no social media. So now you got black women and black boys that really like take social media to another level and take it to heart, and they'll commit suicide. I didn't have that. When I told my mum I wanted to be lighter, she just looked at me and laughed. And being Bayesian, she just, that was the look. That was it. Until she saw that I was serious, she sat down and said my skin was beautiful, and I was like, okay, and I walked away, and that was it. And like years down the line, I found myself. I was like, hold on a minute. And I started to appreciate my blackness. I realised that black people achieve a lot. So if I saw that at an earlier stage, then I probably would have felt better. But as I didn't, I wanted to be light, because it seems like everybody that was doing great stuff was, you know what I mean, was light. You know what I mean? So I had to look within myself. And I think words of wisdom is to look within yourself and realise how beautiful you are. And that comes with education, that comes with understanding history, that comes with your family as well. Your family is pretty much who you are. So the love you get from your family can empower anything. Like, it really, if your mum and your father or your brother and sister, if they love you the way they're meant to love you, it doesn't matter what anyone else says. I know we've got something called like tough love in family, where you get bullied by your brother or your sister, do you know what I mean? And it just happens, you know what I mean? They could thump you up, or they could say, shut up, you little da-da-da. But the moment someone outside your house says it, they want to fight them for you, you know what I mean? What? That's my little brother, you mad? You know what I mean? And whatever. But I think the love of family, the love of self, is powerful, because when you love yourself, everything just makes sense and nothing can disturb you. Like, when I found self-love, it was beautiful, because I started to kiss myself, and then this was just before Tyrese made his break. So I was like, yes, we all got Tyrese. And I started looking, I see Idris, I'm like, yes, we're getting somewhere, do you know what I mean? And self-love is what saved me. It really did, to realise that, you know what, being dark is it's not bad at all. It's actually a good thing. There are qualities to being dark. Do you know what I mean? You have the dominant gene. Like, it's not recessive. Like, and I started to get into the science of everything. So I started to look at Do you know what I mean? Protons, neutrons, electrons, all them stuff, and realised that, oh, the melanin is powerful. Like, that's 666, like, that's powerful. Wow.
So tell me, what's the Black feminist movement about?
The Black feminist movement is about black women joining together to understand the oppressions that they go through systematic racism that is different from white women. So you had a great feminist named Audre Lorde, and she came out with a statement saying the master's tools will never dismantle the master's house. And that was basically aimed at white women to understand that even though the tools that we are using, be it activism, be it protest, demonstrations, these sort of things, and going on certain platforms and panels to speak out and be like, hey, we need to be heard as women. Those tools that you're using won't dismantle the master's house for us, because there's certain things that we go through that you don't. So we go through racism, you don't, sort of thing. So the Black feminist movement is more to do with black women recognizing what they go through and coming through as a collective, and pushing forward their own sort of, struggles and making it at the forefront, and then fighting back and being more active and emancipating themselves from gendered, racial oppression, really.
So is there any movements, black feminist movements at the moment that are happening?
There are a few. In the UK there isn't a lot. In America there is. So in the States you have a lot in the South. So you've got some in New York, but in the South there's pretty much more. Louisiana, New Orleans, there are a few movements down there. There needs to be more, but I think with the UK, the oppression that black women face in the UK is slightly different from the oppression that black women in America face.
In what way?
America, in the States, is pretty much in your face. So they will call you the N-word and tell you to get out and call the cops on you. Here, it's not, that's quite secret.
Hidden.
Yeah, it's very, very like, alright, how you doing? Smile in the face, and when you're gone, it's a different story. Or if you're applying for a job, it's like, oh, you're too qualified. No, you're underqualified. No, we're looking for, could you send us a picture? No, you don't fit the description. They said that, I think this was put forward in support by Gumtree as well, that the perfect receptionist is white woman, blonde hair and blue eyes. Not a white woman with black hair, or brown hair, hazel, whatever, ginger. It's blonde hair and blue eyes make better receptionists.
Interesting. So what is the future goals for Darrel Blake? Future goals, future plans? Future
goal is to retire before I'm 50 and live somewhere in the Congo. That's right. No, I'm joking. And what is future goal? I just want to be able to see a change in my society, in my community. I mean, I don't believe I'm going to change the world. I don't do that. I don't think the world's going to change dramatically whilst I'm alive. But if I can do what Tupac said what he wanted to do, which is plant the seed in someone's head that would influence them to want to go out there and change the world, then that's my job done. As long as I change one person's mind, be it a boy, girl, man, or woman, if I can just change one person's mind, that's my job done. Because we have to break the cycles. And I'm quite fortunate to be in a position, especially where I come from, I could have been dead or in jail, right? I'm coming from a position where what I've done and what I'm trying to do shouldn't be possible. But I'm making it happen. I'm listening to people, I'm engaging, I'm mentoring, I'm actually writing books and, in positions of power. I've gone to Cambridge. I mean, next month I'm going to Oxford. I'm doing these things, and growing up in Brixton Hill, no. That shouldn't be the case. So I'm taking that and I'm using that platform to be like, alright, well, what can I do with it? And I think with the information I've got and the content I've got and the influence I've got, I should be using this to do the greater good. And people like, let's go back to Tupac, he inspired me a lot growing up. You know what I mean? A lot of the stuff, might be a bit aggressive, some people and whatnot, but I saw through that. Especially with his mum being Afeni Shakur, great black power fighter. And that's what we should be doing as human beings. And Nina Simone, quite frankly, said it as well, that the job of the artist is to reflect the times that we're living in. And we're living in some crucial times where kids are dying. We're living in times where black community is not together, and we need to get together. We got to stop blaming the youth saying it's their fault. It's not their fault, it's our fault. Because whilst we was out there gangbanging 10, 15 years ago, we didn't leave nothing behind. We spent all that money on AVREX and academics and Harachis and wannabes and all these kind of things and jewels and canary watches and all of these stuff. But we didn't leave nothing back. We didn't open up any shops. We didn't lock down any adventure playgrounds. Just like we didn't set up schemes and, you know, pump money to community and say, all right, well, we got this kid in the hood. Yeah, he's from Yellow Brick or he's from Mike'sfield or whatever, but he's dope at playing the piano. So why don't we just give him money? Why don't the hood come together and say, do you know what? We want to send you to that school full of white kids. Yeah, because we know that school's good and the teachers are good. How much is it? $5 grand? Alright. You man, we need to put 5 bags together and send little Jamal off to the white school so he can be the better version. We never did that. So when we got these kids now on the road doing what they're doing, it's simple down to the fact that there's no guidance, no influence. And we've lost that community where we can't even leave our front doors open because we think our next door neighbour going to teeth out our things. So when our grandparents came over for a Windrush, they stuck together because they had each other. There was no, oh, it's not my picnic, I'm in our business. That flex didn't run. We created partner money, we was sharing, we was building economies. You know what I mean? We would trust each other with money, we would spend money with you and not spend money with them. Do you see what I'm saying? In terms of like the Latin community, so your Portuguese, your Spanish, your Puerto Ricans, and them, that bunch of people there, their money rotates between 3 to 5 times. Then you've got Arab money that bounces around in their community, right? Look, let's look at it. Jewish money at the top. It's like 15 to 20 times money will bounce in the Jewish community before it goes anywhere else. Like, then you've got Arab and you've got white and you've got then black people. Twice. It goes from there to there before it's left the hands of the black community. So we need economics. We need our own hospitals. We need our own supermarket. We need our own bank. We need our own schools. Those are 5 key things that we need. And if I can just plant the seed and someone said, all right, I'm going to create the first black bank, what are you saying? And most of us won't even go in the black bank. Let's just keep it real. What would you rather do? Put £300, yeah, right, in Sankofa? Or would you go and put £300 in Barclays? Barclays. Why? Because they're white. You might say, yeah, but no, yeah, buy anything. White people have frigged over black people for hundreds and hundreds of years, and we still trust them. That's the reality. Because they say, oh, it's professional, oh, if my money gets lost, it's guaranteed to come back. Why? Because black people don't pay each other back on time. That's the reality. We don't pay each other back on time. So we'd rather put our money in a white space than in a black space because of trust. We don't trust each other anymore. We snaked each other. Plantation to here. Dog eat dog world. So if I can do that, if I can plant that seed, I'll be happy. I'll be more than happy. I can just retire and say, alright, cool, then he pass it on and so forth. That's what every leader wanted to do. From Malcolm all the way down to Garvey, prior to that. They just wanted to make that change. We'll set up a platform for they can do that. So
my attitude, Rosa Parks, is a fire in my heart. Je m'appelle Misha, ego World War I. Excellence indeed, a supreme work of art. Nah, you don't wanna start, I wear the blood clot. March through the streets like Angela Davis with my right hand up so you know what the wave is. All you phonies look alive, I'm the spirit of David. I set pace, come true like you're saying it do. Now everybody's claiming that they got the sauce. With the same recipe, I put them all on pause. Wait, hold up, get a pen and paper. Take a seat, let me show you how it's done. La, 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 la. I come true with that ooh, nothing to